Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. So it will be plenty of dry weather at times, especially through the middle of this week, but it will be slightly cooler as we do see chillier air masses mixing in with some of that milder air that is trying to push up from the south. We could see brief bursts of warmth from the south, but they're not going to produce anything particularly dry or warm. It's more going to be cloud and rain, as we are going to see low pressure slide in from the southwest. So it's one of these patterns where we're on the cusp of something a bit warmer and drier, but it's not going to quite work out. It's looking likely temperatures will be back towards the mid-teens, maybe even low teens in points, and there will be dry weather, but equally some rain, especially towards the end of this upcoming working week. As we do have a look at the longer range runs, like the GFS, GM, ECMWF and the ensembles, it's continuing to look likely that we'll see temperatures around average or slightly above, but we are seeing an increasing signal for lower pressure to dominate. Now, high pressure is still close by, but it's now looking likely that low pressure will slide in off the Atlantic, either sit over the top of us or just sort of spiral to our south. And again, not going to produce anything stormy, anything hugely low pressure based, but because low pressure is nearby and it's dominating more than we thought a couple of days ago, it will mean there's a lot more showers, probably more thunderstorms, and there is the potential for more batches of occluded fronts, which will produce more frontal rainfall in places. So the longer term forecasts, especially for precipitation, is deteriorating. It has deteriorated for the last few days. We're just seeing a continuation of that today. So not looking good through early May for precipitation if you want something a bit drier, especially after the end of this week where it does look likely to be pretty wet indeed. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well. The link's in the description. So if you start on the live radar at the moment, you can see it is a mostly dry day, but we've seen a lot of cumulus clouds popping up, especially through parts of England and Wales. We have seen some pop-up showers, and a few of these a bit thundery. You can see them for the far east and southeast at the moment. They were a bit more widespread earlier, but they're now clearing through, and you can see it's associated with a large area of instability. It's giving a lot of pop-up showers and thundery showers through Europe at the moment. Most of northwest Europe seeing these thundery showers. Further northwards, a few showers again popping up, but again a mostly dry day. We see a bit of sunshine feeling again. Pretty warm out there. Those temperatures will slide over the coming days. Now, if you do put on the temperatures, as around 4 p.m, so we're about the peak or just past the peak, you can see it is best further westwards into the southwest, where we are avoiding these showers further eastwards, but we've still got a relatively warm air mass. Elsewhere, more towards the mid-teens, are slowly lowering, and you can see across the far north and the northeast, it is pretty chilly, and this is because a cold air mass is just off our coast, just to our northeast, and it's sort of flirting with these regions, giving temperatures more around the high single digits or low double digits. Now, quite a few of these areas do coincide with higher ground, but especially towards coastal areas here, struggling around that sort of 10 to 12 degree mark, and it's this cold air to our north that's going to be mixing in, allowing more rain to develop and thicker cloud and that slightly cooler temperatures. Now, if you do have a look at the UKV and see what that's showing over the course of the next 5 days, you can see through this afternoon all those showers spreading through and a generally dry night in most areas. Into tomorrow, it will probably be another pretty dry day, but there will be quite a thick cloud around in places. Again, we could see some sunny breaks in the southwest, maybe East Anglia and further northwards, and even some areas through central areas could see there's a few cloud breaks, but mostly cloudy, and the temperatures will be sliding downwards as a cooler air does move in. Beyond that, into Wednesday, it could be another generally quite dry day. However, we see a bit of rain in the far north and maybe the far west, but mostly dry. But again, quite a lot of thick cloud. For England and Wales, especially the further eastwards and southwards you go, could be more sunshine mixing in, which could make it feel pretty decent, but that will really pinpoint the temperature. So we'll have to look at those temperatures in a minute, see what the UKV is showing. So it could be highly variable depending on that cloud. Into Thursday, however, we do actually start to drop a really warm air mass from the south, but it's actually associated with more instability, and we see an area of heavy rain and showers spiraling up from the southwest, so it could be temporarily warm in places through Thursday. It could be a bit muggy with the upper air temperatures rising, but we're seeing a lot of rain with that and potentially quite a big a few areas of showers and thunderstorms spreading in. And you can see that really emphasised on Friday. Look at that widespread heavy thunderstorms through Friday afternoon. Again, they're not forming into huge multi-celled systems, mostly pop up, but they are very frequent, very widespread, and a lot of them are looking pretty intense. Now it is 4 days away, so things will change, but this signal is not looking good. Could be some big thunderstorms later this week. And they continue to beef out through the evening before eventually fading away into Saturday. Now, the reason for that is because if we have a look at the upper air temperatures at the moment, it's generally around average for the time of year, so it's nothing special, but you can see that colder air mass flirting with the north and the east. As we progress over the coming days, it will generally be a little bit cooler in those upper air temperatures. You can see that drifting down to around freezing or below that at 850 HPA, as that air mass does allow some cool air to move in. And as we head slowly into Wednesday and Thursday, you see those upper air temperatures really rising, maybe 10 plus degrees at 850 HPA in the south. So it would be really warm if we had sunny weather and no rain and cloud, but unfortunately it's associated with a lot of the rain and cloud, a lot more instability, and that's going to cause those big thunderstorms potentially through Friday. Eventually the upper air mass does disintegrate away to a generally average sort of air mass, a couple of degrees above freezing, so nothing too warm into the weekend, but slightly better than now, so you could see high teens once again into the weekend, and we'll just have to pinpoint the precipitation nearer the time. Now, if you look at the max temperatures, it'll be very interesting to see what they are showing over the coming days. You can see at the moment around 15 to 18 degrees for the top temperature. Again, where we see those heavy showers and thicker cloud, it will feel cooler and those temperatures will drop, and you can see across the far north and east towards that low double digits, high single digits. Tonight could be a bit of a frost in the north, but most areas not too cold, and into tomorrow afternoon not quite as warm as today. Many areas now down towards 13 to 16 degrees. Again, could see 17 further westwards. Into Wednesday now, again, a lot of uncertainty with the temperature on Wednesday because we are seeing warmer air move in slowly from the south, but cool air still lingering in a bit of sunshine. Could see 16 to 18, so slightly around average or above average, so nothing particularly warm, but nothing particularly cool either. Again, will be very dependent on microclimate conditions like thick cloud moving in. So it's one of those where it could be 14, 15, or it could be 17, 18. We'll just have to see nearer the time. And finally to Thursday, very warm air mass moves in. You could see there a slither of widespread 18 or 19 degrees and could even pump out a 20 degrees somewhere there. But it isn't widespread because we've got thicker cloud and rain moving in. Again, this area of warm weather could expand if the rain's delayed, or it could completely shrink to nothing if the rain comes through further earlier and is more extensive. And finally, as we head into Friday, still relatively warm air mass around, so we could still see temperatures in the mid to high teens, but of course we've got these big thunderstorms, so it's very scattered. Any warm conditions, and again, will be very dependent on cloud, rain, and thunderstorm amounts and positioning. So yeah, this upcoming week going to be quite a mixed bag. Nothing too warm, nothing too cool. Some dry weather at times, but equally some heavier rain into Thursday for areas in the south and the west, and some widespread heavy showers and thunderstorms through the end of the week, especially at the moment looking likely on Friday. If we do now have a look at the GFS and see what that is showing over the course of the next couple of weeks, again, you can see high pressure building in at the moment. Again, and that gives that slightly drier weather through sort of Tuesday, Wednesday time, before eventually low pressure drags up from this far southwest. But it drags up quite a warm air mass with it, so that's why it could be very warm on Thursday before it does turn to heavy rain and thunderstorms into Friday. Eventually low pressure sweeps through and kind of just sits over the top of us through the first 10 days, or toward day 10 here, and yeah, this would be really quite horrible for eventually high pressure tries to build back in before we see another low sit on top of us. So very firmly surrounded by high pressure, but right on top of the UK, it's looking low pressure. In the longer term, it's going to dominate more often than not, and this is what I mean when I said at the start of the video, the conditions look like they are deteriorating, because we are continuing to see low pressure take more and more of an influence. This would be really quite horrible. And you look at the upper air temperatures, they're nothing spectacular. They're pretty cold, actually. Look at the temperature deviation in the blues. That would be really quite miserable if we started to see that towards the middle of the month. Luckily, it's sort of day 10 to day 14 time frame, and the next 7 days don't look too bad. They're not spectacular, they don't look too bad. So luckily, this isn't the long range. It can change, but hopefully it doesn't stay on its current course, which is a course of deterioration. If you do have a look at the GM, so yeah, that does compare. Again, high pressure building in at the moment. Eventually seeing low pressure moving off the Atlantic, giving that heavy thundery showers into Friday and potentially the weekend. And once again, high pressure trying to build in, but toward day 10, we're not really under a centre for high, and there's all these little areas of instability. So it won't be a washout, but once again, will probably be unsettled at times with heavy showers and thunderstorms moving in. And again, look at the upper air temperatures for this, nothing spectacular. Again, if we did see some slightly warmer air, it would give better temperatures, but it could also fuel the heavy showers and thunderstorms. So we will have to see what happens, but GM, not quite as bad as the GFS in terms of the low pressure, but still not producing anything too succinctly dry and warm. If you look at the ECMWF now, see how that does compare. High pressure building in at the moment. Again, dragging up that southerly wind, but with lower pressure later this week. And all the way to day 10, we continue to see low pressure influencing us. Still, with loads of high pressure around. High pressure towards Eastern Europe, Scandinavia, into the Atlantic, down towards France and Spain. But low pressure just sitting towards southern Scandinavia and northwest Europe, continuing to keep us pretty unsettled. And if we do put on those upper air temperatures, you can see again, nothing spectacularly warm, but nothing spectacularly warm, nothing out of the park, but generally sort of around average, if not trending perhaps towards cooler than average if we did start to pull some of these greens in from the northwest. So yeah, not looking great from the longer range runs today. Definitely deteriorating every day we go past. Hopefully it's just a signal within the models at the moment and things do reverse. But at the moment is looking likely with the latest runs to be more unsettled as we head towards this upcoming weekend, including the coronation weekend, bank holiday weekend for many. Hopefully we do see some dry spells then. We'll have to see what the UKV time frame, what the UKV shows when it gets into the time frame. But yeah, looking quite unsettled. Nothing especially cold, nothing especially warm, generally around average, so not great. If you look at the ensembles, you can see this well reflected over the next 7 days. Around average or slightly below average for the coming days, we do see this brief bump in upper air temperatures around Wednesday, Thursday time, but it's associated with heavy showers and thunderstorms. Beyond that, temperatures stay around average or slightly above before trending more towards average. But again, the upper air temperatures won't make much of a difference whether they're warm, because if we've got a lot of rain around and cloud around, like the precipitation spikes are showing here, yeah, it'll feel cool. Definitively. So yeah, a lot more precipitation appearing now from around the 6th, 7th of May onwards. Not good, not particularly hopeful for something drier and warmer. Again, we could see a spike in upper air temperatures, but if it's associated with low pressure, we're going to see showers and storms and rain, so it won't feel all too pleasant. Now, if we do look at the 2 meter temperatures, along with that precipitation, you'll be able to see that it's nothing too bad in the longer term, around sort of the mid-teens, 15, 16, 17 degrees. And we had said about a month ago that's pretty warm. But now we're into early May, that's not sort of the best sort of conditions. We'd be expecting more towards high teens, 18, 19, 20 degrees, before we slowly get into July, where the average temperature in London area should be around 22 or 23 in the daytime. So a good sort of 5 to 8 degrees above what it's showing now. So again, it's not spectacularly cool, a couple of degrees around average really, or slightly below average. 2 meter temperatures, but it will feel even colder with all that precipitation and cloud around. Not particularly great. And if we do compare it to the ECMWF, once again, you can see pretty similar for the upper air temperatures. There, a spike next week, then staying above average, then trending more towards average or below average, and a lot of precipitation. So very showery, potentially very thundery, especially later this week. Not looking good. So if you've got any plans, if you've got any plans this week, make sure you try and get them out of the way, perhaps through Tuesday and Wednesday, looking like the driest days of the week. Could turn warmer later in the week, but that will be associated with more rain, cloud, and some thunderstorms perhaps through Friday, maybe even continue into the weekend as well. But we'll have to look at that in more detail for the next day or two as it comes into the shorter time frame. And the longer term is looking more and more unsettled. Temperatures probably be pretty irrelevant because of all that rain, but they're generally around average, so sort of mid-teens, maybe higher teens when we see some drier weather. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, not looking too great. Hopefully we see something a bit warmer and drier soon. But I'll see you again for another video tomorrow.